Hello. The story that I chose was Gretchen's 40 Wins from the Good Glass Bowl and Other Stories by Scott Fitzgerald. By the beginning of the story, I need to do an introduction. F. Scott Fitzgerald in those times have problems with his own family, but by being more precisely, when he started this story, Gretchen's 40 Wins, or, well, The Cool Glass Bowl and Other Stories, he launched this book, and this book don't sell too much. And his wife, well, give his ring. Well, if you know what I am talking about. This story talks about, for me, what it could be the life of Fitzgerald in Gretchen's 40 Wings, but it wasn't for obvious reasons. But let's continue with the story. At the beginning of the story, we can see a couple that it's Roger and Gretchen. Roger is a man that at the beginning of the story we can see that it's a hard working man. This man dedicates his time from 18 a.m. to 5 p.m., if I am not wrong, to his work. He makes advertisements and other words of this comparison. But he takes too much of his time in this work. I mean, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and then in home he is still working in his advertisement. He will be tired of the life, and this is the beginning of the story. Well, this is Roger. Then we can see Gretchen. Gretchen is a woman that is the wife of Roger, but she is tired of the life form of Roger. I mean, Roger is not in home, and every time that he's in home, he's working. And Gretchen is a woman that having time with Roger. He's boring about his life, about the lifestyle of Roger. Then in the beginning of the story happen something. They know they meet with Roger. What Roger no George Tompkins, if I am not wrong. Tompkins is a man who is his neighborhood. He's a rich man who has a very, we can see, healthy life. He have a routine, but he having a lot of work, but he having a lot of fun. It's like a stabilized life between work and free time. This is the lifestyle of Tompkins. And when George and Gretchen come to Tompkins, Gretchen love his lifestyle. It's like what Gretchen wants to do, but she can't because he lives with Roger. Well, then in the story we can see that Roger doesn't like too much Tompkins for obvious reason. One of the reasons I think is he thinks that Tompkins is maybe wants to steal his wife, and that's if we analyze that, we can see that it's a problem that most of the men, if I am not wrong, they think of his wives. I need to explain this. In most of the men, we can see that want to work, they want to give the money of this family because they are the men of the house. If they didn't realize like a man. That's something of 1920, even in these times. And there is something special of this book, I suppose. Well, later in the book, we can see that how Roger is thinking about Thompson, that it's like a man that have a style of life that he can't in this at this moment of the story. Later, when he was working and she come to his bedroom to sleep a little bit, he see a picture of that is Tompkins with his wife. They are riding a horse, if I am not wrong. This is something that he see like an like a message of what Gretchen likes, of what she wants to do, and Roger realized that he's that he maybe are losing Gretchen. That's something that for him it's very bad. But well, at this moment the relationship between they are very normal until Gretchen invites Thompson to his house. This is very important of the story because at this moment we can see that Roger is very annoying for the president of Tompkins, and well, even that Gretchen doesn't want that he works in the dining room, so he works in the upstairs. Um, well, why I'm saying this? That's because he Roger um, Roger can hear what Gretchen and Tompkins have said about him, about his lifestyle, and that is very bad for him, and how um, Gretchen dislikes that style of life, and Roger gets angry about them and confronting Thompson. Then they during the conflicting of between Thompson and Roger, we can see that Roger have a point. They need to work because if he wants to keep Gretchen, he needs to still work. That were in this moment he is doing a very important project and he really needs to complete it. That's why he is taking much of his time working. But Thompson says that he didn't realize about Gretchen and what he wants, and that he is taking her left and the priority is his work. Most of the points are right. I mean, if you have money, you can stay with your family most of the time. But if you have your family first, maybe the money is not very much or enough for your family, and that was of the what saw the author in 1927, and in these days this keeps it the same. That's very interesting for me. Um, well, this is at the beginning of the story. No, at the beginning, no, at the between of the story. After the conflicting between Tompkins and Roger, Gretchen gets angry with Roger because Tompkins was his only friend because um, she was inside of the house and she can get out for some reason that I didn't know. I don't comprehend why Thompson was his only friend, and he go to his bedroom and don't want to talk with Roger. Roger realized that Gretchen is a very important of his life. That is, um, Gretchen is what he works, but if the works are if the words are affect his relationship between Gretchen and he, well, what is more important? Well, at this moment, the story is very interesting, and then we can see the Mr. Goldman. The Mr. Goldman is the boss of Roger, and then start to speak about the project, and Roger realize that he wants to stay out of this project for a moment, and he needs a time. Well, after that, we can see how Roger received a call that he he received a message from phone that he will he will get some publishment of his advertisement. I mean, his advertisement were successful, and the company wants more about it. So that was that was an accomplishment for him. He will very happy about this, and he told this thing to his wife Gretchen. And well, at this moment, well, after that, then happened something very strange. Roger told to Gretchen that the advertisements were very successful, but she lost one day. And I don't know if that was because she was in his bedroom for an entirely day, or maybe he was very sleeping about what is happening at his mm, well, what is happening in between he and the world. And well, that was very strange, and that is why Roger calls a doctor of what is happening, what my wife didn't remember what happened in Thursday. And well, he says he was tired. He was tired of sleep. That's doesn't have too much sense, but well, um, this is an the final of the story. But we see that George Tompkins get a nervous breakdown. That's what very surprising, because Tompkins are men that have a very health lifestyle, and he got a nervous um, breakdown. But why? It was supposed that he can he can get that. The most right, the most wearable person for that was Roger. So what happened? That well, it's supposed that he got nervous about his style of life that was too much wilder. That was very strange. That was well, that was interesting. I think I need to say. And Roger said to the doctor that what he'll do. I mean, he was sleepless for 6 months, and well, and the 6 weeks more important that was the final of the 6 months. But the doctor says that he was very healthy. That is very interesting, because Roger were the most appropriate person for the nervous breakdown, and Tompkins no, because he's a healthy man. And then Tompkins get the nervous breakdown, and Roger got the health life. So well, that was a cycle of these things of what happening. That was very strange, but it's ironically I need to it's ironical. That's what I want to say. It's ironical, but well, it's very interesting. And well, finally, I need to say that the story is very interesting, and maybe it's a little confusing in some ways, well, in some parts of the story. But the message of how the man got the world first of everything is very interesting. It was in 1927, and in these days it kept in the same way. The men got the world first than the family. This is well very interesting how the man got his priorities and his conflicts. And well, that's everything I need to say. Thank you.